Hey, everyone.
Hey, guys.
Welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Barricade. I'm Laura.
And I'm Maddie.
And today, we have a fun one for you.
A very fun one.
One that, okay, hold on. Back up. I feel like you need to be told some background info of how we operate as a unit. So, Beyond the Barricade, Backing the Barricade, all of the Barricade things.
You might think it's just us.
For a good majority, it is a lot of us. But there's a lot of behind-the-scenes people that make things happen. We have a lot of moving parts. And we mentioned Hayden a whole bunch. He's our mastermind who will edit the podcast episodes, helps us technically with all of that stuff.
He's the only reason this sounds decent.
Good. Yep. We love you, Hayden. We have Jen, we've mentioned her as our nucleus. She lives in Chicago. We love Jen. We also have Nate.
Yes.
The unofficial official.
Who is a very important
component.
Yes,
for a lot of things.
Bonus member of Backing the Barricade. I don't think he
knows.
Agreed to that, but he is.
Yes, he is. We love Nate so much. And this episode in particular is all thanks to Nate. Like a lot of things.
Like a lot of these episodes, you just don't know. Nate just kind of presents us guests for the podcast, and we're like, yes.
Please. Thank you. This episode in particular, we're very excited because we have receipts for you guys.
We do.
Nate presented us this artist and he was like, hey, super young, very excited. He deemed this, what was it?
So he emailed us back in September of 2024. He said he is about to put out the best record of 2025, Save the Receipt.
And we did.
And that record is out. And we talked to Walker, a.k.a. Your Neighbors. And it's a great time.
Yeah.
I can't say that Nate is wrong.
It is only June.
But it's a strong contender.
It's a strong contender. And we told Walker Nate's Nate's words. And I think he felt a little pressure added to him. But he was like, you know what? If Nate says it, then
it must be true.
It must hold some weight. So we're going to leave you at that.
Yeah.
Because it's a quick episode. It's a little guy. We met him before his show in Dallas. And if you're watching it, you'll kind of see the space that we were in. Yeah. And it was a good one.
I feel like we say this every episode, but if you are listening, you really should watch the YouTube video because this was arguably one of my favorite setups for recording the video aspect of an interview because normally we are crammed into teeny tiny little green rooms.
Yep. Insert all the clips, all the backstage things that we've had to squeeze ourselves into.
And it doesn't look fantastic, but we do what we can.
And we mentioned that a lot about, we don't have a luxury of setting things up and having a nice studio space for all of our guests because a lot of our episodes, a good 90% of our episodes are done the morning of their shows.
Yeah. Either just in between sound check.
Meet and greets, whenever they can. We're we will be there.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah. So this one was a fun setup for sure because the venue was wide open and it was super fun.
Yeah. We were at Club Dada in Dallas and we actually got there right when they arrived at the venue as well. Mm-hmm. So we had a full big open space. Yes. It was really nice. We got to hang out on stage or we sat on stage while we talked to Walker.
Yeah. And it's a great one. So enjoy, take a listen. We go in and out of his new album, the tour, and just inspirations galore.
Yeah, so many things.
Yeah. Enjoy. Cool. Here it is.
Hey guys, I'm Maddie.
I'm Laura.
And today we are going...
I fucked it up.
And I fucked it up.
Yes. We're starting that again.
I think we're going to use that one.
We are going to use that one.
Yep.
Hey guys, I'm Maddie.
And I'm Laura.
And today we are going Beyond the Barricade with Walker Robinson of Your Neighbors.
Hello, how are we doing?
Yeah, good.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
He wanted to say his own name.
We are going Beyond the Barricade with...
Walker Robinson from Your Neighbors.
Thank you. Yes. Amazing. Good job, guys.
So before we dive into anything, can you give a little synopsis? Tell us about Your Neighbors. Tell us who you are, all that good stuff.
Yeah, we're from Nashville. Been making music now for 2017? So 8 years now. Nice. Just finally touring. Yeah, COVID kind of messed that up for us. And so this is our second tour so far, kind of front to back, doing all the markets.
It's a big tour too.
Yeah, 33 dates. The biggest one we've done in a row for sure.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's fun.
Well, we have so much to talk about with that, but we want to rewind a little bit first and talk about kind of the early days before your neighbors. So one thing that we always kind of like to talk to people on the podcast about is how you got into music originally. So was there anyone in your life that kind of introduced you to the music that you became a fan of? Or how did you get into music originally?
I mean, there was like a lot of things. I remember like being on a boat and hearing Thriller for the first time. I was probably like 5 years old. And I had it just blew my mind. I was like, this is so crazy. So like that's like my earliest like musical memory. But my mom and my dad were like very big on like at different phases in my life encouraging me to do music. So my mom got me a guitar when I was like 8. And didn't really care that much about it until I was like maybe like 10. And I got a guitar teacher that was like really cool about just like showing me the songs I wanted to learn instead of like theory and stuff, which like I had to learn later. I wish I had done it earlier, but I eventually got to it. But that was like a big start for me. And then my dad started getting me into these like little like jam band type things. We had like local jams in Greensboro at this like T-shirt factory, and I used to go up there and play all the time. It was the Les Paul Jam, the Gibson sponsored thing or whatever, and that's definitely like where I got like my reps in for sure. Like having to learn how to like play on the fly and do all of that. Like influences though, like I've just been listening to music forever. Like I had like a 50 Cent phase. Like I heard Indie Club when I was like in second grade, and then I got into like classic rock. Like my dad was like check out Guns N' Roses and like Ozzy Osbourne and stuff like that, and then got into metal. Still into metal now. I feel like that's like what I'm listening to all the time. But like it doesn't really reflect in the music that much, but it pops in every once in a while. I'm trying to think of anything else that's like notable, like influence wise, like alt rap type shit, like back in like 2013, like the Backpack era of stuff, like Chance the Rapper, like acid rap, and then Because the Internet from Childish Gambino, love that album too. Then like you kind of get into Radiohead and like kind of like the stranger, more eclectic type stuff, and yeah, it's just been kind of all over. Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I'm still finding new stuff.
I love it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what we said kind of earlier, we talked to the fans, who like stand out in line, like the diehards of different things. Do you remember a band that really captivated you in the beginning where you were like, I'm like a huge fan of this band?
I'm trying to think of like the first band I've ever been like a super fan of, like going through the whole catalog. When I was in like 7th grade, it was like Metallica.
Okay.
Like, I went through like all the eras of their stuff from like, the first 4 like more traditional thrash albums that they had. And then like the Black Album with like Enter Sandman and like kind of like the more like pop versions of what they did, and then all the way through even to like Saint Anger, which everybody trashes that album, but I really still like it. That snare sounds so crazy. But and then Dave Matthews was the second band I really obsessed over.
Quite a flip.
Yeah, no joke.
I was just like, what concert are you like, I'm getting a ticket and I'm going to that one?
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think like, because like when I was in high school, Dave was doing summer tours like every, and I'm pretty sure he still does that. And I remember seeing footage of the show freshman year that I didn't go to, and then like sophomore year I was like, okay, I got to go to this concert. But I'd seen like a lot of stuff. My first concert was Guns N' Roses in like 4th grade, and like he like Axl still had his cornrows and stuff. Like it was like a whole different era of them. But it was only Axl was like the only original member at that time. Now they brought like Slash back and Duff McKagan and all them. But yeah, like I'm a geek. Sorry, I got like,
I
all
love
the
it. He's name dropping
and
everything.
Yeah,
that's perfect.
So yeah, but that era, I think it was like a lot of classic rock and like Skynyrd and stuff were like my first few concerts, and then branched into metal, and then like all the hip hop stuff. Like I saw like Mac Miller on the Good AM tour, like 2015. Yeah, that was that Gold Link was opening up for him. I think Damo Genesis was there too from Odd Future. Yeah, that was
Mac Miller.
Yeah, Mac was one of the best. Yeah, man. Yeah, he was tight.
Damn. Do you know Mac Miller found Role Model?
No.
Really? How long? I thought he was like really young.
Yeah,
like,
nope. Role Model had a whole like career before.
Really?
Yeah, and it was because of Mac Miller. Yeah. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we'll get real sad later. Yeah.
Well, with the wide expanse of artists that you've listened to, one of the things that we always like to ask you is obviously like your influence on the music that you create now. Sure. And I feel like your music taste spans so much. Can you talk a little bit about who you draw influence from, or if you do, maybe you don't?
We have some people that are like, no, like we don't sound like the things that we listen to.
That is,
which I think is interesting
for me, like right now at least. But like since I've listened to everything, throughout my whole life, I feel like the more influences you have, the harder they are to kind of nail down. Because they're all just kind of pouring through. So I don't know if there's like anything specific that is like at least consciously come into my mind when we're trying to make stuff.
Right.
But like I do know like I like certain like moments in songs like build a certain way. So like EDM is really good at that.
Yes.
Like where you have like a big
Structure
build up to like
it.
a crazy drop or whatever. Metal is very similar to that too. You're always setting up the breakdown or whatever. And like so I think like those types of like tropes and the way you kind of navigate a song, there's some influence there for sure.
Yeah.
And then I'm trying to think of like as far as like as how like eclectic we are, like because the internet is probably one of those projects because it does go all over the place.
It does.
And that's the first time I've ever heard anything like that.
Yeah.
And haven't heard much like it since, other than from Gambino. There hadn't really been that type of stuff really, like where they'll try so many different genres like all throughout the whole thing.
Right.
Bando Stone, his newest album, is kind of doing that as well. But like my favorite version of it, I think still is Because the Internet.
Yeah,
But,
it's so good.
Okay, a follow-up question to that as well. Do you have any artists that you particularly take influence from as far as like stage presence or what you want to bring to a live show?
Okay.
I love that question.
That is a great question. I don't move a whole lot on stage.
I was
at all.
going to say, also,
just
you
stay
can
in the
say
same
no.
spot.
Yeah.
Like, I like what Tame Impala does because Kevin Parker he just stands right there,
Yes.
and then the background goes crazy.
I was going to say,
Yes.
let the surroundings
Exactly.
be the...
If I had the budget for that, that's what the ideal setup would be. With
that's
just
where
like a
we're
crazy
going.
LED screen,
Yes.
all the lights and stuff, and then I can just stand there like a silhouette and just sing into the mic.
We're going to
Yeah.
clip this in like 3 years when you're selling out like big arenas.
I love
We're going to be
that,
like, we predicted this.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
thank
did.
you,
Yeah, we
thank you.
spoke into
Yeah.
the prophecy.
Yes, thank you
This
for
is your
that.
prophecy.
Appreciate
Yep. How has tour been so far? Here we kind of said it off camera, but you are like 3 weeks. You have 36 shows.
33 shows.
33 shows.
Yeah, 33
I think
shows.
we're
We're
at,
pretty
like
into it, right?
Yeah.
22. I think
Uh-huh.
tonight's the 22nd one.
Okay.
How's
Yeah.
it been so far?
It's been great. Yeah. No real issues coming up. Like it's been very relaxed and I've been watching the drinking, so that's like not gotten in the way of anything. Everybody's been kind of behaving.
Love staying healthy.
Yeah, exactly. It's hard to do.
It is. Has there been any like fan interactions or like special moments that stick out in particular so far?
I'm trying to think. We got a few gifts, like, from some fans. Like I have like one thing hanging up in the RV right now where somebody did like a cool like marker drawing of like a still from one of our music videos.
Oh, that's cool.
I wish I remembered their name off the top of my head so I could shout them out. It's like Froggy Fruit Snacks or something is
Hell
their Instagram
yeah.
handle.
Froggy Fresh.
That was
We'll
super
flash it right
sick.
here.
Yep.
I'm trying to think if there was like anything else other than that though.
Fan art's so fun.
Yes,
It is really cool.
I love getting anything like that. So if you do see this and you want to give a gift, I'd love to have
Happily
it. So,
take
it.
yes, certainly.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think. Then not really much else. Like, obviously the fans have been like really cool too. Like, you go market to market and see like what songs, since our catalog is so all over the place, like sometimes like the rock stuff like gets them more amped and they cannot stand the EDM stuff. Or sometimes it's the opposite way around because we got like 2 new songs we're playing and one is more kind of hip hop EDM driven. The other one's just like straight ahead, like butt rock in your face, just like big guitars and stuff. And it's cool to see like depending on the crowd, like which one likes it more.
Which
than
one
the
picks
other.
up.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's
funny.
on a diverse set list, ladies and gentlemen.
We
Oh,
love
yeah.
it.
Oh,
We
yeah.
love it. Yeah.
So we have new album out as well that came out a couple months ago, right?
Yes, February. Yeah.
How has the fan reaction been to the album? How has it been having it out in the world now?
I mean, I'm just happy to be done with it. It
Yeah.
took so
It's like
long.
it's done.
Can we
Yeah.
brag a little bit about this album?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
so
we have an anecdote.
we do. So Nate, our awesome unofficial member of Back in the
The
Barricade.
third member of Back in the Barricade.
Yes. He sent out your like press release essentially, and he had a bold claim in that he just like typed in, and it was that this will be the best album of 2025. Keep the receipts.
Wow.
So
Damn, Nate. Thank you.
high praise.
That's awesome.
Very high praise. And so we're like, okay, we're keeping that, we might name
so
the
we
podcast
had
this.
high expectations, and I feel like he's not wrong.
He's not wrong.
Wow,
He's
thank
not
you. Yeah,
incorrect.
Very
Yeah.
kind. Very
Yeah.
kind.
It's a hard, that's a
So you
bold claim.
got a big vote of confidence from Nate
Yes,
just to
thank
start
you.
off with.
Thank you, Nate.
Because I
Yeah.
think he sent us
Nate's
that
approval.
in September.
Oh, yeah.
We've
'cause he
been
was on
talking
this
about you
since
for a
then.
minute.
Okay, yeah.
You've been on our radar, and so
Nice.
we're very excited to get this.
Yeah. So now
Yeah.
it's out in the universe.
Yes, it's finally done.
Yeah.
It is a wild listen. It is kind of funny. Like, if it is somebody's favorite from 2025, like, I feel like it's so all over the place. And, like, there is a
Oh,
story
that's
kind of
nice.
interwoven, but, like,
Oh, what's the story?
I mean, it's like basically just somebody coming to grips with, like, their, like, existential issues or whatever, which is like, kind of basically just me as the main character, but like it's not all me. It's loosely based on that. I don't know. There has to be like some kind of like degree of separation so you can have like some like identity in yourself.
Yep.
That's the best thing about being like your neighbors too. It's like not Walker Robinson, so I can like leave the stage and be a human being rather than having to be your like, facade 24/7.
That's nice. You kind of get to step away from it a little bit and have that like space in between you and the persona almost of like who you are on stage.
Especially if you make a bad song. And then
you're
people are just like,
hey, that's not me.
We just tried something out.
That's your neighbors.
Exactly. I have nothing to do with that.
That's Mr. Neighbor's problem.
Okay, so I mean, I guess you kind of just answered that, but we actually don't ask that very often. But story behind the name, can you expand on that a little? You basically just answered it, but expand on it a little because I love that.
How do we get there?
I'm trying to basically. It's kind of a dumb story. There was another band called Your Relatives that was like around like our house at the time. Like this dude like came in from Connecticut and like. We were kind of like making fun of the band name or whatever. Sorry, Chris, you're a good dude. I don't know. But like, it was just kind of like a silly thing. But the drummer at the time, Nick, he was saying like, what if there was a band like, what if we're like Your Neighbors? And I was like, that sounds kind of cool. And like, at Lipscomb where I went to college, like we basically just had like a jam band that I was singing, I was like the front man of. But like everybody would like interchange. Like we'd have a different drummer or like a different horn player or different bass players and stuff. So it kind of just like fit that in a way. And then everybody just kind of stopped making music. I was the only one that kept going. And then, so then I started making it with different people. And it's still just kind of remained Your Neighbors because the first EP came out as Your Neighbors. And so we never felt like changing it.
I love that.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Something else notable I feel like about Your Neighbors as a whole has been your album artwork.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, Matt is so very cool with that.
It's so sick. Tell us a little bit about that because it's so different, but it is very stylized, I feel like to you.
I feel like it's consistent across everything that you put out.
So tell us a little bit about that.
That's all my buddy Matt. I met him during COVID, actually. We were working at a studio, like interning, and a few of his roommates were there. And then I got introduced like through that or whatever. And I was always super into collage work and stuff. And my grandfather used to make like collage style stuff as well. And like I never really knew how to do that. And so one of our earlier covers for a song called POV was like the first time we ever did like a collage style kind of like album art, because it used to just be like iPhone pictures, and I would just like sit there on like the markup app or whatever and just like scratch the eyes out and whatever.
I do that all the time.
So that was kind of like how it started. But I knew eventually I wanted to move towards the collage stuff because it does kind of like fit our music in a way.
Like,
it does. It's all over the place and
kind
like
of
kind of cut it out.
Nostalgic-ish too. Of
Sure.
Like,
yeah. There's big emphasis on that from Matt for sure. And so his like op6.png on Instagram. I want to shout all my friends out.
Please do. Yes, we'll include all the things. Yeah.
And he's really on top of all that. So I basically come in with like an idea and a couple references and stuff, and then he just kind of chops it up.
He takes it and runs.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I love that. That's so cool.
He does a phenomenal job. That was like one of the first things when we were kind of diving into your discography. We were like, oh, this is sick. Because it's consistent across all of them, but they're all so cool.
Sure, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, there you go, amazing. Matt. Yeah, I told you, dude. You're good at this.
So, okay, I know it's already been like such a big year for you guys, and we're only in April.
Wow.
We've had new album, new tour. We're wrapping up tour. Is there anything else coming up this year that you're looking forward to?
Yeah.
Tell us about it.
Tons more singles. Yeah, because we got tons of more music about to come out. Because like the album took like, I think it was really almost 3 years trying to get all, but it was like really 18 months of like really focused work.
Yeah.
And so that obviously like clogs up your pipeline to put out music. And I like dropping singles all the time and stuff because like if we're going all over the place with like different genres, it's like easier just to fling a single. People like it or they don't like it. We try a new thing, fling that. And it's like, you always have something coming out. Exactly. Yeah. It's like a bunch of little like lottery tickets and hopefully some do, pretty good.
Yeah.
But
you got to play to win.
Exactly. Yeah. I've never understood that. Like so many
numbers game. It's the numbers game.
It is. Yeah. So many artists like they make music, but they never put it out.
Yes.
And, like for me, I feel like the best like gauge of how good you are, like how things are going for you is like if you can put the music out for people to react to. Because if you're going to sit there, like I hate all my music by the time it comes out, but I've heard it 1,000 times.
Right. Yeah.
So like at one point I did like it. And so like I think that's an important part of the process to like show it to people and see what they think and then go off of that.
I love that.
I feel like that's so true. It's so easy to just like sit on things forever and ever and ever, and then you lose enthusiasm for it, and then it kills it. So
absolutely. And then you never want to drop it.
Yeah, exactly. On to the next.
Yep. Well, our last kind of final question that we always ask everybody is, what are you a fan of right now, like musically? What are you listening to?
Oh man, I actually have to like pull my phone out.
Do it.
Because like I've been getting a bunch of like new mixes of my own stuff. So right now I still like that music, but like that'll go away as soon as it drops. Let's see what's in. I've been listening to a lot of metal, obviously. I think I said that earlier.
So funny.
I haven't listened to this band yet, but last night people were telling me about After the Burial, and so I got to check them out. Metal-wise, Thus Spoke Zarathustra. Sick album.
Okay.
It's a very sick album. Yeah, they had this one album title called I'm Done with Self-Care. It's Time for Others' Harm. I thought that was so ridiculous.
That is so metal.
I was like, I'm going to at least listen to this and see what's going on.
The title alone just captures you, and you're like, well, all right, let's see what that's about.
Away from the metal world, I've got this dude, Lou Phelps. Kate Trinata produced this whole album, and like I love his stuff. And so like that's been kind of on repeat. The TV Girl George Clanton album, Philenium, I've been listening to that a ton.
Nice.
That album is crazy. New Skrillex album is great. That's pretty much it. I have a soft spot for Playboi Carti. Some people really don't like it, but I love Playboi Carti.
So funny.
And so that's kind of in there for me. Balloonerism, that Mac project.
It's so good.
Medium Build. He's a dude that I've really been liking a lot. He has this album called Country, and it's stellar. Like Beach Chair, Stick Around, Crying Over You. Yeah, there's tons. So that should be, hopefully, I can keep going, but I don't want to like...
That is, I mean, I don't know what I was expecting, but it was very, very vast and very, huge.
Very reflective of the music, for sure.
I love that.
Big metal guy.
Yes, definitely.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us for a podcast episode.
Where can people find you? What is like the best way to find your music or anything like that? Like you're on Instagram?
Drop all the handles.
All the handles.
Yeah. At Your Neighbors USA on Instagram. We're just regular Your Neighbors on Spotify. I'm trying to get the actual Your Neighbors back. And somebody's holding it, and no one follows them. They don't have anything. There's no profile picture.
Always the case.
And so we're on the hunt, dude. Get ready, dude. Your time is
Some makeup brand has
dude.
mine. It's real annoying.
Some fucking nobody makeup brand has L'Oreal.
Oh,
give me that back.
Sure, right? Yeah.
Anyway,
you gotta work on that.
Yeah, I do. Anyway, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Make sure, make sure you stream Your Neighbors and go see a show because
there's so much new music coming out.
Yeah.
Too.
Oh yeah,
we're so excited.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. This was awesome. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
That was good. Okay.
Sick.
I was not confident starting this. I was like, this is going to be difficult. No, that was good. Okay.
Yep.
Outro?
Yep.
That was so in sync.
I hope he puts that in. Hi, everyone. Yeah, that was it. That was Walker.
What'd you think?
Tell us now. I will say, you know those moments where you speak something with such confidence and then you walk away and you're like, man, I hope that was right.
Yep.
That was me very confidently talking about Role Model and the Mac Miller connection. I did fact check myself. It is true.
We did get in the car to like leave from this interview.
Yep.
And L'Oreal was like, I think what I said was correct, but I'm not sure. So she did look it up.
I did. And I was right.
She was.
Yes.
Which I didn't doubt you. It was a Mac Miller fun fact.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like you would have messed that up.
Thank you.
So,
wow, that means a lot.
My confidence in you is very high when it comes to the Mac Miller world.
It's a lot of pressure.
But you haven't let me down since. Or haven't yet.
Oh my God. Yes. Yeah, no. I take my Mac Miller moments very seriously and my Role Model moments very seriously.
And you pulled out a very important fun fact.
Straight out of my hat. Anyway, so that was a fun one. I love random lores like that. And he's a very creative guy. Not Mac Miller. We're not talking about Mac Miller.
No. Now we're back to Your Neighbors.
Yes. Walker, super talented kid.
So kind, so nice too. Mm-hmm. The conversation was so fun and easy. He had so much to talk about.
So much.
Again, I feel like I say this on like every podcast episode, but it still somehow surprises me. But I love hearing what artists listen to and like draw inspiration from, because he was another one where he listens to a lot of different genres, and it kind of surprised me.
It does.
And I can see where he pulls certain things into his own music, but also I feel like the music that he creates is so different from everything that he listens to as well. So that was cool talking to him about that.
That was cool. Yeah. I like when artists, I think, have that, I don't know, I like them all, but like when they have either the inspiration or like what they like listen to is so different to the sound that they put out. But then I like hearing random like ties in it as well. And I think he did a lot of like storytelling aspect of it. And then like the creative kind of like behind the scenes, like the layering, I think tied a lot in with his inspiration.
Absolutely.
We also talked a lot about album work.
Oh my gosh.
The artwork for that.
Yeah.
That was like the first thing we noticed about him as an artist.
When Nate originally was kind of introducing us to Your Neighbors, and we were diving into his whole catalog, that was the first thing we noticed was like the album artwork is so sick, but it's also like consistent. Like you can tell it was the same artist that had done all of it. Yeah. So we give a good little shout out to the genius behind it.
Yeah. One thing about me personally, and you too, you do this very well. We will ride and die for our friends.
Oh, yes.
And I'm the biggest fan of all of my friends.
Yes. And any chance we can plug them, we're going to.
Yes. Big shout out to everyone that I'm a fan and friend of.
Yes.
He was like that too.
Which I appreciate so much.
Yeah. Because he's like, no, like, I'm taking all of my guys with me, like straight to wherever we go. And I'm like, yeah, let's all do that together.
That was one of my favorite things that we talked to Walker about was all the album artwork and all of that too, because that was one of the very first things that we noticed.
Yeah. I love it so much.
Yeah. And also, now that you guys are acquainted with him, obviously.
We're all friends now.
You need to dive into the album.
Yes.
Because it is fantastic.
It is good.
Which obviously we talk about during the interview as well. But Nate said with his whole chest, it's going to be the best album of 2025.
And we want to know, do you guys agree with Nate?
Yeah.
Do you want to fight Nate and start a battle about like, no, this is the best album of 2025? We so welcome it.
Yeah, let us know. We'll send him all of your comments and we can start some fights and it'll be so fun.
To him directly. I want to know what you think. Your thoughts on that.
Nate didn't know he signed up for all this.
No, he did not. He's going to be so excited. Love him. He's the best. He's our best friend. But yeah, that's wow. I saw a bird outside.
I saw the thought leave your mind when you looked out the window.
You guys, listen, this is how it happens sometimes. What I was going to say is one thing I really appreciated about him was, wrapping up the episode, we kind of ask everybody like what's coming up next.
Oh, yes.
And like, we do it for many reasons. One, obviously, plug whatever you want to plug. What do you have coming up and what do you want to share? Two, we don't necessarily know the order of the podcast when they're coming out. So it kind of gives us like a chance to like maybe stretch some imagination or, whatever. And he gave the perfect answer. He's like, oh no, I'm like always releasing stuff.
Yeah.
He doesn't stick to like the whole like unspoken rule of like, I release an album on this date, I tour it for XYZ, and like there's no formula. He's like,
or the very calculated like teasing things and being strategic about.
He's like, no, singles I love.
Yeah.
He's dropping everything all the time.
That's just my favorite way for an artist to be, is just creating and then putting it out there for the world to have.
Can do.
And
yeah.
He's the perfect representation of that, which I love.
Yeah.
So and when we were talking to him, we were like, I know this is like probably not a great question because you just put out this album.
On tour.
You're on tour currently. Like, surely you don't have a lot. And he's like, oh, no.
He's like, just you wait.
There's a lot coming out this year. So, like we said earlier, if you haven't already, check out the new album, but also follow him. We'll link all of his socials and website and all of that below. We'll also link like the artist that like does his like album artwork too. Like he was
all the mentions. He was very excited about like sharing like his team, which we love. So we'll put everything down below.
That. Yeah. Follow them all because obviously Walker's got a lot of cool stuff coming out.
Yeah.
A lot of things to be excited about.
A lot of things to be excited about. And make sure you're following us while we're on there, on that little train. Yeah. Because we have a lot of stuff coming up. Wow. We do.
We do. It's a spring. It's going into summer, which is tour season. It's festival season.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, guys. This is going to come out before we are at Warped Tour. But we are both going to be at Warped Tour DC in June.
Yes.
So
if you see us running around,
say hi.
Say hi. We'll be with People Are Ugly again. Our little boys.
Yeah.
Our boys.
Another little festival run with them.
Yeah.
Which will be so fun.
It'll be so much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Say hi to us at Warped Tour. We'll be there.
Yeah. Message us if you're going.
Yes.
It'll be great.
We'll be everywhere.
Yeah.
We love it when you guys come up to us and yell at our faces.
It's my favorite thing Ever.
Quite literally, it is. Yep. So yeah, make sure you're following us around because we will be moving around a lot this summer.
There's a lot happening.
A lot happening. So yeah, that's what we got for you.
Yep.
Thanks for listening. As always, leave a little rating of the pod if you can.
Subscribe. It helps us.
Do all the things. Comment on the YouTube video.
Yeah.
You guys love doing that.
Tell
and
us
I love
if you think Nate is
it.
right about your neighbor's album.
Give us your top album of 2025 so far.
Yeah.
I want to start a fight.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's my favorite fight.
See you later.
Bye.